Hello, and welcome to Piano Player Pro, your favourite classical tunes arranged for piano. Today we're going to be playing FÜR ELISE by Beethoven. The story goes that he dedicated this piano bagatelle to a girl that he'd hoped to marry called Teresa. However, she turned him down, and the piece was only discovered and then published after his death. But sadly, the original publisher misread Beethoven's terrible handwriting, and he thought that the dedication was to a girl called Elise rather than Teresa. So the name FÜR ELISE stuck forever. If you haven't already, then follow the link below and head over to the website pianoplayerpro.com, where you can find the sheet music, which is free to download. And while you're there, make sure you check out what other pieces you can learn. I'm regularly adding new pieces and content, so if you find this video helpful, then please hit the subscribe button below. In total, there are 4 piano arrangements of FÜR ELISE for you to choose from, starting with level 1 and then getting progressively more difficult all the way up to level 4. This video is for the level 3 version, but feel free to take a look at the others. We're going to start by playing the whole piece through once. Before we do that, I just want to point out that the A section repeats, so I'm going to play the A section twice. The first time I use the first time bar or the first time option, which is bars 8. If you play bar 5, 6, 7 and then bar 8, then you go all the way back to the beginning, you play it again, but the second time you go bar 5, 6, 7 and you jump to bar 9, which is the second time option that's marked in your score. Then you just play through the B section, the C section and the D section all the way through as written. Okay, let's have a look then. So here we are, the level 3 version of FÜR ELISE. Okay, so that's the whole piece all the way through. I'm going to break it down section by section now. And you may have noticed I was using a little bit of pedalling there, so I'll talk a bit about pedalling as we go through. But let's look at the notes and the rhythms first. So it starts high up here on the E, and you're rocking between the E and the D sharp. And I'm going to use the 4 and the 3 just because I find it much easier than 5 and 4. One thing you need to do a lot in this piece is count these carefully, because it's quite repetitive, but it's very easy to lose track of whether you've already played 2 or whether you need to play 3 or whatever, and particularly later on when you get the long repeat. Okay, so count those carefully, and the finger I've put there seems to work nicely, and then you're going to move your whole hand down and then play this. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and you've got to stretch your hand out quite a bit to do that. I've got quite large hands, so it's not too much of a stretch, but depending on how big your hands are, that might be more of a stretch. But low, C, E, A, B, and then your thumb comes up to the E and you do the same thing again. So you've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so just look at that whole line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to play the same thing again. But before you do, you've got this low E. So you notice in bar 4, there's E, E, and you can tell by the notes that actually they're not the same E. It's low to high, and you're just going to have to kind of jump that slightly. You could go to 5 if you find that easier, and then take over with 4, or you could just stretch from 1 to 4 depending on what you find more comfortable. And the rhythm is 1, rest, 2. Listen again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. And this is the same again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So stretching out your hand. time comes up to the E, but instead of doing this that you did before, you're going to kind of go backwards, up to the C, then back down to the A. So the first time it is finishing on the C. The second time you go up to the C, then back down to the A. Okay, so just listen to this. I'm going to play the right hand part for the A section all the way through, and then we'll look at adding in the left hand part. So here we go. 1, 2. Stretching out the hand. Low E to high. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you repeat all the way from the beginning. I did too many then, so you go all the way back to the beginning. You do the 2 at the end of the first time bar, and then you miss out the first 2 because they're the other side of the repeat. You just do exactly the same as you've always done. An E, a D sharp at the end of the first time bar, an E and a D sharp, and then you carry on the pattern. Then round again, and this is all the same. Low E, high E, then round again, and then coming down to the A, but this is now the second time bar. Okay, and that one is actually short, you've only got a crotchet there, and then you're going to move on. So that's how the right hand part goes. The left hand part is playing these triad chords broken. So a chord is A, C and E, that's the A minor chord, but rather than playing them as a block, you're going 1, 2, 3. And then what's helpful is if you get used to when you move down, rather than moving down your finger and then trying to find the G sharp and trying to find the B and then reversing that, try and think of your hand as a unit, and when you move down, move all the fingers together. Obviously you've got to be careful because the second chord has got a G sharp, so you've got to move it down and then just bring the G sharp up. So down, back up, and then you've got a bar rest. So it starts with a bar rest, down, back up, a bar rest, and then it's both. It's exactly the same both times. Back down, and then back up. So the left hand doesn't change. Remember, the right hand went the first time, the second time. The left hand part is exactly the same. The challenge of putting the two together is they're kind of fighting over the same notes. So you've done this part. So that's where the left hand is, and the right hand wants to be exactly where the left hand is, overlapping. So you've got to make sure you get the left hand out of the way, which is fine because it needs to move out of the way down to there anyway. So, and then back up. So just watch that again. Left hand move, right, and then that E you've just played at the top is the low E that you pick up. So again, you've got to get your thumb out of the way there. Out the way, round again. Out the way, round again, coming down. This is the second time bar, and we're going to stop there for the moment. So that's the second time bar. That's how the A section goes, and you play it through twice like I did then. One thing that will really help with this piece to make it sound like it's flowing, and obviously it's supposed to be a really kind of beautiful flowing piano piece, is to use some pedals. So if you've got a pedal, if you're playing on a piano, you'll have a pedal. You want to use the right hand pedal, which is the sustain pedal. If you're playing on a digital piano, you've most likely got a pedal included, or a keyboard. You know, if you don't, you can buy one that you can usually plug into the back, so you can check that out. And what the pedal does is it just kind of creates, it sustains the notes that you're playing to create a kind of smoother pattern, okay? But you do need to be careful, because if you use it in the wrong place, then you get this kind of smudgy sound like this. So if I used it, for example, in the first bar, it sounds a bit unpleasant, because basically it's sustaining the E and the D sharp at the same time. If I was to play those as a chord, you can hear it doesn't sound very nice together. So when I use the pedal, it's not quite as jarring as playing as a chord, but it's the same effect. So you've got to be quite sparing where you use it. Usually your guide to use it is what the left hand's doing. So the left hand isn't playing in the first bar, so I'm not going to use any pedal. I'm going to keep my foot above the pedal, and then just use it for the second bar, then the third bar, and the fourth bar, and then off for the fifth bar, and then going on. But you still have to be quite careful, because if I just put it down for the second bar and then hold it, you still get that smudge, because I'm now getting this chord superimposed on top of that chord and that chord, and it just builds up that smudgy sound that isn't very nice. You need to do what's called clean the pedal, which means just lift it, And it's slightly counterintuitive what you do. So you press the pedal down, but you don't tend to press it down with the left-hand note or the beginning of the bar. So you expect to do it with the strong pulse. You expect to go down, 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 because you feel the kind of down beats. But actually what you need to do is the opposite of that. You need to lift it up at the beginning of each bar and then very quickly place it down again. So you're going with, let me just do the left hand. So instead of going down, down, which leaves that gap at the end, down, you've got to lift it. So you go down, wait, up, down, wait, up, down. Do you see? So otherwise you get this gap. You go down, then when you lift up, it stops. And you don't want the stop, you want it to overlap. So it's down, wait, up, down, wait, up, down. Okay? So that takes a bit of coordination, a bit of practicing, but it should then sound like this. No pedal, and down, then wait, up, down, off again. I think I did too many there. Down, and up, down, and down, up, down. Okay? And then you repeat and do the second time bar as well. So that's how the A section goes. The B section is quite short, but it creates a nice contrast. You've just finished here. I'm now going to move my thumb all the way up to the B. Okay, I've got a rest, so I don't need to try and go underneath. I can just move my hand up, and it goes straight up. Okay, straight up to the E. And the B section starts with these three linking notes: B, C, D, E. So it doesn't begin at the beginning of bar 10. It kind of runs into bar 10. And then you've got this pattern. Again, it's one of these shapes. So it goes like this. You go to low G, F, E, D. So be careful there to use low G, stretch up to F. Okay, so you get used to that shape, because you're then going to move those fingers. So 1, 5, 4, 3, move them all down one note and play the same pattern, the same rhythm. Then move them down another note. And in music that's called a sequence, which is when you play the same pattern, the same rhythm, the same shape, but gradually moving down step by step. Okay, so that's once you've learnt it, you can then just get used to moving down up, and that's quite an easy way of playing it. So you go up first, thumb stretching down, move your hand position, move your hand position, and then you get to the C section where you need to come off quite quickly. So the left hand waits, so you've got the three notes at the beginning of the B section, the B, C, D, E, and the left hand comes in with the E. And again, it's playing these triads, so it's a C, E, G triad, and then moves up to G, moves up to E. So again, if you can move that as a block, it makes it easier to play, rather than trying to find every note. Just get used to using your hand moving your hand as a unit. And if your little finger leads, then the other fingers should be in the right place. Move up, and then low E. And we're just going to play the first one for the moment. So when we get to the C section, we're just going to stop on that first E. It really is helpful if you get used to moving your left hand as a unit, because you want to think about your left hand as little as possible, because you're going to be concentrating on your right hand as well. So let's put the two hands together from the B section. So it starts with three notes just with the right hand. And then when we get to that E, that's when we come in with the C. And you notice that you've got quavers in the left hand and quavers in the right hand, but actually the effect is you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's kind of continuous pattern between the two hands. They really need to cooperate together. So from the B section, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, stop there. Okay, so that's how the B section works. Let me just do that again slowly. I'm going to use the pedal this time, so you'll hear it just kind of sound smoother, more even, more sustained. I don't play it with this part here, don't want it there. I'm going to leave it because the left hand's not doing anything, so the pedal's going to be up and it's going to go down with the C. Pedal down, then wait, up, down, and stop. I'm going to bring it up there, and I'm not going to use it actually in this link section for reasons I'll show you in a minute. So let's play the B section once more. And that takes us to C. Now when you get to C, you've got four
E's in a row, 5 E's in a row, because you just finished there with the left hand on E. You play the same note again in the left hand, then you've got high E in the left hand, then you've got the note you started on, which we called high E, okay, but you're actually going to play that with your thumb, and then you're going to go all the way up to high E over here, which is actually off the end of the picture. You can't see it, but it's the one there. Hopefully you've got it on your keyboard, you should have. Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's quite a dramatic effect, a dramatic moment in the middle of this very flowing piece. So running into it, you've just gone from the bar before C. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are your 4 E's. And then, this is where your counting really comes into its own. You go back to the original pattern, which was this. But this pattern kind of gets stuck on a loop. So instead of just playing it twice, 1, 2, moving on, like you've done every other time, you're going to play it 5 times. You put an extra 3 versions of the loop in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, moving on. Okay, so that's how the C section links back into the D section. Once you've done that extra loop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, moving on, the rest is the same as you've already done. So this is exactly the same as the A section. Using the pedal again, up, down, off. Okay, and that's the end of the piece. So the D section and the A section are essentially the same. You don't repeat the D section like you did with the A section, and getting into it is a bit more confusing potentially, because you've got these 5 before you move on. So let me just play the piece to you through once more, all the way from the start to the finish. Get this hand ready here. Get these left hand chords ready. Here we go. Pedal ready as well, but not playing from the beginning, so it's up. It's going to go down with the left hand.
So that was the level 3 version of Beethoven's FÜR ELISE. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it helpful. If you have, then please hit the subscribe button below, as there's new pieces for you to learn coming out all the time. And remember, the music for all of them is free to download from the website pianoplayerpro.com. If you've got any questions or requests for future pieces, then do please get in touch via the comments section below. Have a great day then, and happy practicing.